plenty of seats up front for any of you who want to get out of the sun. Please do so. And I see you all have food, but you're not eating. Eat. I mean, it's Monday morning. You got to eat. So grateful to be here. Thank you so much, Doug and Ted and the team who helped make this possible in terms of this idea and then helping us formulate ways to work together on it. We feel so fortunate, both Governor Healy and myself, to be leading the Commonwealth. It comes with great responsibility and also a great opportunity to make these connections and to understand how we can do our part to move Massachusetts forward. I'm really excited to be here with my former colleague, Mayor Ballantyne. The work she's doing in Somerville collectively and members of the council and local government really is a model for many places throughout the Commonwealth to grow and consider how we can use density as our friend. We know that we can't do any of this without our colleagues in the legislature who continue to find ways to work with us on identifying funding, pushing the envelope when it comes to doing more, when it comes to housing. And we couldn't have a better rep than Rep Connolly when it comes to trying to meet these goals and push us faster. Our goal for housing is more faster, and I think Rep Connolly shares that as well. And the first hire we made in this administration 2.5 years ago, even before I think we officially were in office, we were on the hunt for a new GM. I gotta say, like, find yourself a quality GM and get out of the way. And that's what we've done with Phil Eng, who's continuing to work harder to make sure that our historic places like Massachusetts that have roads built for horse and buggy, trains that were built for a different era of bringing people on a 9-to-5 job in and out of Boston, and a place that really didn't support transportation. We have gone miles beyond where we were, having trains not working and, people jumping off the chains in the water going when they were on fire, like all of that, right? I've yet to meet that woman, by the way. I want to. And I think it's a commitment that we've made that we're not just going to kick the can down the road. We're going to put the resources in so we can hire the people and drive a transportation policy that ensures that it's doing things just like this, connecting reliable, safe transit with the places people want to go. And this particular project could not found a better example for what we call Team Massachusetts. When we talk about that, we're talking about, frankly, all of the people who helped move this project forward. It's everyone that contributes to making Massachusetts the best place to live in the country. And I think it really is everyone here today. The governor and I are fond of saying, like, none of us are as smart as all of us. How do we put everyone in the room and come up with solutions? When we work together across sectors, public sector, private sector, higher ed, academia, our research partners, good things happen. And today in East Somerville, this project represents that. Private sector developers who said, hey, we think there's a connection here that could really put transit-oriented development on steroids. A public sector who said, yeah, we should figure out how to make a contribution to make that happen. And then boom, the opportunity for people to get here, to work, to school, or to go home if you're leaving here in a much easier fashion. This is the sort of thing that we want to make easy to do and something that happens much more frequently. Just last week, we had folks from Form Energy were in the State House when we announced the DRIVE initiative. This is a major public-private investment in our research and development areas that we know we're being cut back at the federal level. We don't wait, we don't sit back. What can we do together to make sure we're still supporting a robust research and development? And the year before that, we were here announcing the Mass Leads Act. That's the state's economic development bill, driving innovation, whether it's in climate tech or AI or advanced manufacturing or robotics or life sciences, making the investments that government needs to do. And right now, there's a lot of people in Washington who want you to believe that government doesn't matter, that it's a barrier, an obstacle. I'm here to tell you the exact opposite. As someone who spent a decade plus in local government, educating kids, keeping neighborhoods safe, driving that local economy, and now in this role, partnered up with Governor Maura Healy, first all-female team to lead the corner office. Somebody had to be first. We're glad it was us. We know that government does matter. When we make foundational investments, that's why we're #1 in education, #1 in innovation, best place to raise your family, #1 state when it comes to leading healthcare and investments that matter in everyday lives. That is, in fact, the role of government, to create pathways for us to do better, to get better, for economic mobility. And nobody does it better than Massachusetts, and all of you are an example of how and why we do that. So the only way we do this work is together. So thanks for being here today to help cut a ribbon on something that seems small, but is pretty meaningful if you're the person who's going to have this connection that gets to work, that gets to school, that gets to home. And that's the sort of things that we want to be known for here in Massachusetts. And with that, it's my distinct pleasure to introduce my former colleague, and those of you who live in Somerville, you're lucky to have an extraordinary mayor who continues to find ways to to ensure that Somerville is pushing the needle, always getting better, looking for that continuous improvement, whether it's how you deliver city services or how we set major policies that help lead us in the state. Mayor Katjana Ballantyne.
Good morning, everyone. It's really nice to see you. You know, I want to, of course, say thank you to the Lieutenant Governor for those kind words. Thank you to the GM for being here. Ted Wiley, you and your team for constantly nudging us to make some progress, and thank you for your patience for that connection, and especially a thank you to Doug Gensler and your entire team at North River for your vision and your dedication in completing this project, and for our state rep too for supporting us and all our initiatives here. So, and then I want to say is I have a team at City Hall who are awesome. So I want them to raise their hands so you can see who else is working on that. So everybody who's here from the city, thank you. So for us in Somerville, this is about connecting communities. This new connection shows what we can do when we partner together with our public partners, our private partners, and a local community works hand in hand. Together, the City of Somerville, North River, Form Energy, MBTA, the Commonwealth saw a gap and closed it, literally. I want to share that the Lieutenant Governor and I saw a gap this morning, may I?
Yeah,
for the future. So we're walking up this way to just, you know, do the crosswalk. The green line is going this way. The commuter rail is going this way. Wouldn't it be great to open up that fence?
We could touch it.
Yes, touch it. To, instead of having to go into North Station, that you could just come in here, you can commute out, and we gave all the work to the GM. So, you know, this connection now works for workers, visitors, residents who have a direct and safe access and a convenient way to get to inner belt businesses from East Somerville Green Line Station and the community path. In a moment, you'll hear about what this means for the businesses that call inner belt their home. From my perspective as a mayor, the new connection opens the door to more opportunity for Somerville, more equity, more economic vitality for the inner belt neighborhood and beyond. I love hearing from residents who now can bike and walk more safely to their jobs. I'm excited to check the Green Line Extension ridership change this time next year and see the impact that the connection is having. The Green Line Extension itself is a story of success, though partnership and today's celebration shows that enduring value of collaboration. Years back now, when the Green Line Extension project was at risk, the Somerville community stood up for its transit and promised to do what it took to bring the Green Line to the neighborhoods. I believe my very first public meeting was in 2001. Somerville is a community that believes in transformative power of transit and the access to opportunity it unleashes for all our residents. North River is one of our community leaders in unleashing the transformative potential. Last year, they opened the Poplar Street. Isn't that beautiful? Last year, they opened the Poplar Street connection on the brick bottom side of the station, and this year, it's this fantastic connection to Inner Belt. The East Somerville Station went from having one point of access to the neighborhoods to 3, thanks to North River and their team. So for too long, the station was so close, yet it felt just out of reach for many. Today, the changes, and it's changes because of our shared commitment to build infrastructure that serves people. This is a win for Somerville, for sustainable transportation, for a strong ongoing partnership that keeps our city moving forward. Thank you, and let's keep building on the connection and the collaboration. Next up, I'd like to introduce Ted Wiley, co-founder and president of Form Energy, and a wonderful partner with us here in the city and with our state partners.
All right. Thank you, Mayor Ballantyne, and thank you, Lieutenant Governor Driscoll and Representative Connolly, and also Doug and Philip for coming today. And more than that, thank you for making this project a reality. I wanted to just look out at the audience and see the Form team. If you're on the Form team, could you raise your hand? And keep your hand up if you bike into work sometimes. Woo! Okay. So this is, and also that's me as well. Why are we excited about this? I think different reasons for different people, but the reason I love biking into work whenever I can, and for reference, my commute is I live on Winter Hill. I have an annual membership to Blue Bikes, and I take a Blue Bike from the top of Winter Hill right to the bike path, and then over here and park it and go into work. And sometimes I take the shuttle that our landlord provides to 30 Dane and take a Blue Bike home. Sometimes I go over to 30 Dane and come back here and take a Blue Bike home on the path. And I didn't do that before. I was driving here for the first year that we were here because I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel safe riding my bike from Winter Hill into the more industrial part of Somerville, through the tunnel that you have to go through to get in here. There's just too many parts that I felt like were too high risk for me. I have young kids. I talked to my wife about it. She's like, I don't want you riding a bike. And then once the bike path opened, it was a yes, like that works for me. And that is real. And the reason for everybody, whether they do it or don't do it, I think the reason you do it is because it's amazing. It's amazing to ride into work and be able to smell the flowers, hear the birds, feel the wind in your face, to get exercise while you're riding into work and back. You feel better, you think better. It's an amazing feeling. And that combined with this incredible campus that's coming together is the kind of place that you want to work and think and innovate and dream about the future. It feels like the future, and I am just incredibly appreciative of the Healy administration, of Lieutenant Governor Driscoll and Governor Healy, and Mayor Ballantyne, and the local politics coming together and saying we're going to make this a reality. This undeniably made our lives better. Everybody that you saw raise their hand. I think I can speak for everybody there. It made it a better place to come to work. It made it a brighter and a better day, and it made it easier to dream about the future and then take those dreams and turn them into reality, which is what we're doing at Form. We're building large-scale batteries to make the grid better. When the team works together, amazing things happen. So thank you very much for getting together today to celebrate this. It's not a momentous event, but it's an important event, and it sends a symbol of what we can do. Next up, I want to introduce the MBTA General Manager Phil Eng, but before I do, I wanted to give just a quick special round of applause to Tammy Diorio, our head of put a lot of effort into galvanizing the Form team to advocate that this happen. Thank you, Tammy. What an amazing day. All right, General Manager.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Ted. It's a pleasure to be here today. And I think you've heard so many eloquent things about these opportunities. And whether it's a small opportunity, it's a big deal to people that really need it and rely on it. You heard the Lieutenant Governor talk about 2.5 years ago. When I had the opportunity to interview for the role, the Lieutenant Governor, talked exactly about what she said today, about Massachusetts not only being number one in so many sectors, but what we can do making lives better for everyone. And whether it's the clean energy sector, whether it's working at Form Energy, whether it's living in Somerville, Mayor, these are the things that transportation and sound, reliable transportation can improve quality of life And what we're doing here at the MBTA in just these little things here, the ability to find ways to solve problems with our partners, whether it's North River, whether it's Wheelock Street, Capital, and Form Energy, and the mayor in Somerville here. These are the things where you go home at the end of the day and you say, wow, it feels good to make a positive difference in people's lives. I remember 2.5 years ago, one of the big things, aside from making the system safer, making it more reliable, rebuilding public trust, which is still ongoing, we're working hard at that. But even the community path here, that was closed, that was not open, and we didn't have a schedule for it. We didn't know, but that was a priority of ours when we first got in. How do we fix that? How do we get it open? And as I sit here today, and I see people biking, jogging, you see the commuter rail, and now I have another task. I'm figuring another connection. But those are the things that excite me. Those are the things that excite the MBTA workforce, which the governor, lieutenant governor, and the legislature have really invested in rebuilding the MBTA so we can deliver these types of things for everyone here. Safe, reliable, affordable, and good access to our system is what supports the community. It supports development, it supports quality of life, and it supports the ability for people to want to live, work, and play, and stay here. And that's really the exciting part of being part of the MBTA, part of the Team Massachusetts. And I can't just say thank you enough to everyone here, because the partnership is what makes this so exciting, but also the ability to actually solve things. And as you've heard, let's get it done, right? Let's not find reasons that we can't do this. So just with that, I want to say thank you for the opportunity to be here today. And I think I'm going to be passing it off to Rep. Connolly. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everyone. I'm delighted to be here and really want to say thank you to Doug and North River for making this happen, to Form Energy and Ted, to our mayor, to our LG, and to Phil Eng for getting the trains to run on time again. Let's hear it for Phil. Thank you for giving us a public transit system we can be proud of. And this is really meaningful to me as a representative. I'm serving in my 5th term. My district, for anyone who doesn't know, it includes Cambridgeport, Central Square, Inman Square, East Cambridge, Wellington Harrington, as well as East Somerville, parts of Union Square, and Assembly Row. And don't tell the folks in Cambridge, but I think it's fair to say we spend a disproportionate amount of time serving the needs of East Somerville when you think of that district. And the reason why, as state representative, is East Somerville has been particularly impacted by infrastructure challenges on the state level. And when I first ran for office, that was really one of the primary goals that I had, was to see, can we reconnect the East Somerville neighborhood to the rest of the community. And so when I think back 10 years ago, I used to talk a lot about how East Somerville was bisected and walled off by transit infrastructure that didn't serve this neighborhood and didn't serve our community. If you can picture it, we have these commuter rail tracks over here, we have the McGrath Highway and the overpass over there, we have I-93 that walls us off to the north, and all of that infrastructure wasn't really designed or intended for our local community. It certainly wasn't supporting business development and economic development here in the Inner Belt or in Brick Bottom. But if you think of all the progress we've made over the past decade, it's really astounding. Of course, it started with the Green Line extension, and as the mayor said, there were some very difficult, intense moments. I was at a table with a former GM of the MBTA when we were told about a decade ago, look, we're going to have to cut the community path. And local officials, local residents united, and we said, no, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And no offense, Phil, but many of my constituents say the community path is actually the thing they're most excited about when it comes to the Green Line extension. And to think of the progress we've made, as you heard earlier, there was just one entry point. And now, thanks to the leadership you see in front of you, we've added that connection to the Brick Bottom neighborhood. We have this new connection here to the Inner Belt. Thinking more broadly, there's also a plan moving forward, and we have to work together, keep it moving forward, to redo the McGrath Highway, to tear down that McCarthy overpass, to put beautiful bike lanes and trees on each side, separated and protected. There are also great plans in the works up by Assembly Row to put a footbridge over the Mystic River. And so when you start to think about all the connections that we're creating, it's so exciting and meaningful. You know, and I mentioned at the top, you know, I represent East Cambridge, I represent East Somerville. And for so long, it felt like East Cambridge and East Somerville were absolutely worlds apart. There was no way to get from here to there without dealing with infrastructure that wasn't designed for people. Now, if you feel like, you know, taking a stroll down to Lamplighter at Cambridge Crossing after work, you could just walk right up the community path or rent a blue bike. There's so many new options, and I'm learning today we might be getting a commuter rail stop as well, and I'm all for it. So
That's our idea, right? LG, it's our idea.
absolutely. Well, so I'll conclude there, and you know, just want to express my gratitude and say again how meaningful it is that we are reconnecting these neighborhoods, creating opportunities. I love the sound of that train. Let's keep it up. And thanks again for having me.